I mean, would not have known him unless, you know, they listened to your show.
Well, he's gone all over the state on his various you know, missions, and
it takes a lot of money to confront Mary Landrieu. You know, like maybe Cassidy or Maness or somebody might have some support from the Republican Party. But I thought there are 3 or 4 other Democrats running in that race, are they not? That have not dropped out.
Yeah, there are a few. There are a few, and there are a few other Republicans. I had on a Republican running the other day, Thomas Clements. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not a foregone conclusion that Mary Landrieu is going to win this race. But if you read,
but he could have gotten 1 to 2% of the black votes.
I think
that could have hurt. That could have hurt her.
That could have hurt her in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
And let me just say this: Stephanie Grace. Have you ever read her column?
I've read it in the past. Yeah.
Okay. It's just like, you know, gay marriage is okay, and I hate to say this.
Well, I mean, she's a liberal. I mean, she's a liberal.
She's a very liberal lesbo, if you want to look at it like that.
Well, I don't know what her
That's what
status.
People have told me.
I don't know that, but I mean, I do know she's liberal.
Yeah. Oh, very liberal.
Mm-hmm.
And she criticizes the judge that ruled on banning gay marriage in this state. She criticizes that. You know, sometimes your true colors come out what you are. You know, and Mary Landrieu, it's landslide Mary Landrieu. And
I'm not going to criticize that judge. I think that judge struck a blow for traditional values and for the vote and for the voters of Louisiana. We voted to ban gay marriage. We voted. So, I mean, shouldn't it be up to us, the people?
Yeah, you see, if you read those columnists like Grace, what's her name, Stephanie Grace, this man is out of touch, and if it goes to the appeals court, and if it goes to you see, this issue is finally going to be resolved in the U.S. Supreme Court. Don't you see that?
I see it. Yeah, I see it. And I think, you know, who knows how it's going to be resolved, because a court is very up in the air. It's a very mixed court. You've got the strong conservatives, you got the strong liberals, and you got Anthony Kennedy and John Roberts. You never know where John Roberts is going to come down.
Right. Am I off base when I say that this homosexuality, which is gay marriage, is immoral? Am I putting it?
I think if you're a Bible-believing Christian, I mean, you've got a lot of, support for that comment. I mean, some preachers don't believe that. Many do, though. And many Christians out there believe it is, we love the sinner but not the sin. I mean, certainly don't in any way condone discrimination in any way against folks that have that lifestyle, but you don't believe it is right, don't believe it is moral. So that is, I think, in line with a lot of, Christian belief in this country. And I think that was part of the reason why the voters in Louisiana said no to it. State after state, judges have been overruling the vote, but here they didn't. So, if a columnist is going to write in favor of gay marriage, it's not going to surprise me because it goes on all over the country. And it is now, sort of the in thing to do to write in favor of in favor of gay marriage. All right, one more call, and then Steve Sabludowsky is going to be joining us from BayouBuzz.com. Adam from Pearl River. Adam, good morning, sir. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Jeff.
Hey.
Yeah, two quick ones, bud. I am on my way right now. I'm driving. I'm going to withdraw from the Republican Party, and I'm going to register as independent.
Wow.
I think now we have it right out in front of us who this Louisiana Republican Party is. And
what was the straw that broke the camel's back?
What Paul just called in, what I saw in the paper this morning, the support of Edwin Edwards, a crook, a ultra-liberal Democrat, I want to say subhuman in terms of morality and ethics, and so I'm I'm registering independent as of this morning. It's clear as crystal now who they are. It should have been earlier, but I kept hoping.
But that's the Democratic Party that is endorsing him, right?
I thought you said the Republican Party.
No, I mean that's the Democratic Party. They have officially endorsed him, not the Republicans.
Oh, excuse me then. I'm turning around right now.
So, yeah, the Democrats, yes.
I would have sworn Paul said the Republican Party is.
No.
I just glanced at it this morning. I really didn't read it carefully, so I took his word for it. But
no,
okay.
There are about 10 Republicans trying to beat him.
I guess I'll go to Walmart instead.
Okay.
Listen, Jeff, on this guy, on Reverend, so-called Reverend Brown.
Yeah, what do you make of that? All of a sudden he's running, then all of a sudden he sends out a very well-written piece saying he's thought about it and consulted with his family and decided not to run.
Obviously, he was gotten to by the Landrieu syndicate, and Reverend Brown got what he wanted, whatever it was. That's the whole reason he was in the race, is to get something. I mean, that's kind of obvious. He knew he had no chance to win. He said it himself. He wanted something. He got it. He's gone. So this is what Raymond Brown is. He's a parasite. He one day he coddles white on your show. The next day he's bragging about his membership in a black
Panthers. Gotcha, my friend. We got to roll. Thank you, Adam. We'll be back.
I'm Warren Montgomery, candidate for district attorney. As an experienced federal prosecutor, I know how to be tough on crime without the shadow of political cronyism. I look forward to meeting each and every one of you in this upcoming election.
The good people of St. Tammany and Washington parishes deserve the quality of life they've worked hard to attain. Unfortunately, all is not good. We need a bold, fresh start. With Warren Montgomery, our own decorated, independent, former federal prosecutor, he'll make us proud.
Can we try to talk to him?
More about the Montgomery campaign. Nothing
Steve, can you hear me okay?
More than Acme Oyster House. For over 100
I can't hear
years,
him,
Acme
though.
Oyster House has been welcoming guests to come on in, sit back, and stay for a while. So if you're planning a homecoming or just planning on coming home, Acme Oyster House. Still grilling.
Try again.
For over 100.
River City
Why
Air
can't I hear
Express
him?
has demand service. That means service when you need them, day or night, weekend or weekday. River City Air Express, your AC and heating experts. 841-3300.
Dorothy Parker was an American poet, writer, well known for her satire and wisecracks. It is said that when she heard
got a
the
problem
news
here, man.
that
You gotta
President
hang with
Calvin
us until we
Coolidge
get it
had
resolved.
died, she asked, how
He
could they tell?
can't hear us. I can't hear him.
Well, I can't say that I admire her perspective on that sad occasion. Her words do raise a good point. There should be evidence of life in all who profess to be a Christian.
Steve?
The New Testament says we were dead in our sins before
I think he can
knowing
hear
Christ,
us. We
and
can't
that
hear
being
him.
born again means a brand new life in the Spirit. There should be plenty of evidence if someone is truly alive in Christ. This is David Jeremiah, encouraging you to get on the road to new life. Discover God's life on Route 66.
Route 66.
You got everything turned up?
Home. Log on to Route 66.
Steve, can we reconnect? Try to
Get
reconnect?
your roadmap for life. Route 66. Start your journey home today.
It's on your end, they say. Can you just call him and talk to him?
Ringside Politics with a Punch.
339-325. I'm going to have Rudy call you,
Whether
Steve.
you're defending a sacred cow, beating a
339-325.
dead horse, or shooting the bull. Bring your chickens home to roost now by calling Jeff Crouere at 556-9696.
I know. I had a good time.
Can you hear me now? Yeah.
Hey. Still have our technical problems we're working out with Steve Sabludowsky, so hopefully we'll be able to have Steve back on. Steve, are you with us now?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, very good. We've got them worked out. Steve, thanks for your patience. Glad we got this worked out. How's it going? Good morning.
I'm doing fine, Jeff, and how are you? I don't know what the technical issue is, but thank you so much.
Well, it's good to have you back, and Steve, welcome aboard. We've been talking about a lot this morning. Let's jump right into it. Ray Rice, of course, the top national story of the day, the NFL player with a, of course, initial 2-game suspension. Then the video comes out. Then he's indefinitely suspended. Questions about whether the punishment should have been harsher in the first place. And then questions about whether Roger Goodell can survive now, this whole controversy. Mm-hmm. You think he got preferential treatment? You think this thing is a scandal that is going to maybe bring down the commissioner?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that need to wait a couple of days and see how all this airs out. I think that at this point in time, I think people are shocked. But I think they're, one of the things that I thought of as soon as this thing came out is whether or not the NFL had talked to the wife. Mm-hmm. And, look, I think everybody, especially after the O.J. Simpson case, I think everybody is outraged by, this type of physical battery that takes place, domestic battery, domestic crime. And it is a crime. Right now, the person who is really victimized, I think, is the wife. And now not only did she get beat up, but she, as I appreciate it, she's out of income, and so she's not happy about it, from what I understand. So
she did. She blamed the media for the whole thing, and says they're to blame for this whole thing being resurrected and back in the news. So we'll get thoughts about that at 504-556-9696. Some local politics, of course, the U.S. Senate race. Mary Landrieu had a big fundraiser with Bill Clinton over the weekend. Reverend Brown dropped out of the race after, on this program, stating he was going to take it to Mary Landrieu. You got the state Democratic Party endorsing Edwin Edwards. You got the Duck Dynasty folks going after the kissing congressman. You want to jump in on any of that?
Well, one at a time. Sure. Which one do you want to go for?
Well, let's start with, I guess, Edwin Edwards being endorsed. A lot of folks seem to be appalled by that. But I
don't think it looks good. I think a lot of Democrats weren't very happy about Edwards actually getting in the race in the first place. Mm-hmm. And so, I think that I don't think it looks good at all. There's nothing positive, as far as I'm concerned, in terms of the Democrats endorsing him.
Also want to get your thoughts on the Duck Dynasty folks going after their once favorite son, Vance McAllister, and now, of course, supporting their family member, Zach Dasher. We knew that was going to happen.
I think that Mr. Dynasty said that he put a line on him, and I think that was kind of the quote. I think the Robertsons, they ought to just duck out of this whole thing. Really, what gives them, as far as I'm concerned, what gives them the right to anoint anybody I just don't get it. Their race is, yet to be won and lost, and let's just see what happens. I think that one of the things that I think I appreciated, Jindal is supporting at least Tim is supporting Dasher.
Explain to people who that is. People don't know who Tim is.
Okay, Timmy Teeple is the best friend of Bobby Jindal. He was supporting, as I appreciated, Reiser, and now he's supporting the Dasher guy, and Dasher has come out of nowhere. Jindal, gave the Robertsons this grand economic development award, entrepreneurship award, You know, first time ever, and you gave it to him twice. You know, I mean, it's a game. So,
all right, let's take.
you know, the thing is that in that district, you know, people or they don't want to support the Jindal candidate.
Yeah.
I find it really interesting that Jindal cannot get the support of the people in North Louisiana, yet he's up in New Hampshire and Iowa supporting other people, as well as North Carolina, South Carolina, and I guess maybe Russia.
Difference is we know them here, they don't know them there. That's why.
I agree. I agree.
That's the difference. Let's do this. Before the end of the hour, let's squeeze in a quick call, then we'll hopefully hold you over, keep this rolling. 504-556-9696. Jeff Crouere here, Steve Sabludowsky with us. Open line. Any topic you want to address, fair game. Let's go to Captain Kirk, who's with us. Hey, Cap, how are you?
Hey, okay, good, yeah. I was heard you saying about the guy going back and forth across the border and nobody stopped him, nobody looking at him. And look at when you bring in all them people from third world countries, look at the 1,000 kids with the asthma in the country now. I forget where it's at. I think it's in the Midwest.
Yeah, they got 10 states, 1,000 affected so far.
So far, that's right. The more that come over sick, who knows what they got? They got Border Patrol agents getting sick. You know, it's ridiculous, you know.
And we seem to just really not be doing much about it because obviously southern and northern border are both wide open.
Yeah, yeah. And the Ebola, man, don't bring it to this country. I know that people need to be treated, but don't bring it here.
They're already here, Cap. I mean, they're already here. Four of them have now come here for treatment.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. You don't bring a disease to your country.
The doctors take precautions to try to protect themselves when they treat the patients, but it's not working. They're still getting it. And we heard from our friend Brian earlier, the numbers are up to 15,000 now. Just a few weeks ago, it was like 900. So this thing is growing. The World Health Organization says it's spreading exponentially, which is scary. Hey, Captain, good to hear from you. That's Captain Kirk. Steve, the whole Ebola virus, very troubling. World Health Organization is concerned about it spreading. Do you have a problem with Americans coming back here for treatment, those who have been infected serving in Africa trying to treat the poor?
No, I don't. In general, now if it's going to cause a direct risk, if we're not able to properly handle it, then sure. I mean, I heard what you said, and I haven't kept up with this. So, is there positive proof of a definite relationship to these 4 medical people and other people in the United States?
We don't know of anybody here who has contracted it. So the worry is that it could happen, but so far it has not.
Yeah, if there are sufficient safeguards, then I mean, I don't have any problem with it.
All right. With that, Steve, hang on because we're up against the clock. We'll come back to more of your calls. 504-556-9696. Jeff Crouere here. Steve Sabludowsky with us, publisher of BayouBuzz.com. And it's an open line. So anything you want to talk about is fair game. A lot to do in our final hour. Coming up on 10 o'clock, though, let's get the latest from the Blaze.
WGSO 990 AM, New Orleans, Louisiana. 60 years of speaking easy, New Orleans style.
This is the Blaze Radio News. I'm John DeMaster.
Hey, Steve.
It will take 3 years to do this is just flatly wrong. The moment to strike ISIS is right now.
Hey, do you know what was the problem?
No, I have no idea. I have no idea. And that's why I sent the link early to set up.
Dollar counterterrorism fund. And saying this
no, I don't have any clue.
Former U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, John Bolton, on Fox News, saying the time to act right now.
Every day that goes by, every moment.
Okay, well, at least we got it fixed.
Gives
So,
ISIS the chance to
whatever it was.
thus making it much harder to dislodge and destroy them.
It's primary election day today in 5 states.
New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New York, and Delaware. In New Hampshire, former Massachusetts Senator Republican Scott Brown, the frontrunner in the Republican primary for Senate. These are the last 5 primaries ahead of the November election.
That's the Blaze Radio's Robin Walensky. This is news on the Blaze Radio Network.
Everyone is making the switch to the Blaze to make it their source for the truth. Why not make it your source for the truth? Make theblaze.com your homepage for news that the other outlets won't even touch. Subscribe to The Blaze TV at theblaze.com/TV or on Dish Network and get access to original programming like For the Record, the show that exposes what's really going on that the government doesn't want you to know. And Real News, the daily conversation on the topics of the day that matter most. Check out the Blaze Radio Network at theblaze.com/radio with original shows like Buck Sexton, The Morning Blaze with Doc Thompson, Pat and Stu, and Jay Severin. Or, if you need something to hold in your hands, subscribe to the Blaze magazine. So basically, anywhere you need to go, you can take the truth with you by taking the Blaze with you. This is the Blaze. Truth lives here. So just to recap, anywhere you need to go, you can take the truth with you by taking the Blaze with you. Find out all the ways at theblaze.com.
ISIS terrorists threatening to murder Twitter employees in San Francisco. The company has been deleting accounts associated with the terrorist group as quickly as they pop up. Today, a Twitter account associated with ISIS posting a warning for employees to watch over themselves because a lone wolf assassin might be waiting on their doorstep. More experts talking about terrorism with the anniversary of 9/11 just days away. Here's the Blaze Radio's Tom Peace.
Some experts think an attack on American soil by ISIS is unlikely on al-Qaeda's 9/11 date because the leader of ISIS, al-Baghdadi, wouldn't want to.
He's very narcissistic, and many believe that he may not want to do an attack on 9/11's anniversary because of being in competition with the legacy of Osama bin Laden. He wants his own legacy. He wants to be regarded as the biggest, baddest terrorist that ever lived.
That's former FBI Assistant Director Tom Fuentes speaking on CNN.
Doctors in Atlanta waiting to treat another American infected with Ebola. The State Department saying the patient is a U.S. citizen who picked it up in Sierra Leone, expected to arrive in Atlanta this morning. Although many praising the NFL for booting Baltimore running back Ray Rice following an assault with his then-fiancée, the woman who's since become his wife, not among them. The Blaze Radio's Chris Barnes with more.
Day after video of the elevator assault goes public, Janae Rice posts on Instagram, "No one knows the pain, the media, and unwanted opinions from the public has caused my family," saying, "To make us relive a moment in our lives that we regret every day is a horrible thing." Mrs. Rice also accuses the media of being motivated purely by ratings, adding in capital letters, "This is our life. What don't you all get? If your intentions were to hurt us, embarrass us, make us feel alone, take all happiness away, you've succeeded on so many levels." Closing with, "Just know we will continue to grow and show the world what real love is." I'm Chris Barnes, The Blaze News.
This is news on the Blaze Radio Network. Truth lives here.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
On March 3rd last year, Henry W. faced his own death with incredible courage. He wasn't in an accident. He wasn't ill. He wasn't in any danger. But he faced this reality head on. If he died, his wife and children wouldn't be able to pay the mortgage, make the car payments, or keep up the life they'd had. His family would lose everything. So he picked up the phone and called AIG Direct. He found out that through AIG Direct, he could get a $250,000 life insurance policy for less than $14 a month. Now, he knows that he's helped make his family's future secure, no matter what happens to him.
Protecting your family with coverage through AIG Direct is fast, easy, and incredibly affordable. Call AIG Direct right now for a free no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you can save up to 70%. Call now. 1-800-521-0281. That's 1-800-521-0281. 1-800-521-0281.
Nothing to do to save his life, call his wife in. Nothing to say but what a day, how's your boy been?
All right, we are back. Wow, we've been busy so far this morning. A lot going on, covering the issues of the day. It's an open line here in the program, so we invite you to join us at 504-556-9696. Every day in the program, we have a Ringside All-Star who checks in with us on Tuesdays. Very pleased to have with us publisher of Bayoubuzz.com, who's with us also via Google Hangout on Bayoubuzz, Steve Sabludowsky, who is here. And Steve, welcome back, sir.
Hey, Jeff. Thank you so much.
One more issue, and then we'll take some more calls. I have to talk about Ray Nagin starting his prison term. Also, at the same time, Mark St. Pierre got a 12-year reduction on his prison sentence. Greg Mefford was sentenced to 2.5 years in prison. So Nagin got the harshest penalty of any of that gang. And your thoughts on how the whole, thing worked out with all of the Nagin team?
Well, first of all, I wrote about it yesterday. I wrote a column about it yesterday, and I called the column that part postcard to Nagin. And I really encourage your audience to read it. It gives my feelings about the situation regarding Mefford. Well, I really didn't know St. Pierre. I did know Mefford, and certainly knew Nagin. And I'm disappointed. I think everybody's disappointed. In terms of St. Pierre, I personally was not aware that he had his term reduced.
Well, he was initially sentenced to 17 years.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, sure.
They cited his cooperation, and now it's been cut down to 5 because it was out of whack with everybody else's prison sentence because it was the harshest.
Well, yeah, but I mean, from what I understood and saw and read, basically, he was, he was a ringleader. So, I have a hard time with that. I think Nagin, I think he definitely deserved 10 years at least. And Mefford, he was all over the board, during his initial testimony. He
initially denied everything, of course. Then he lied under oath, and then eventually he came around, and they said his cooperation was extraordinary.
Yeah.
And the fact that it was just overwhelming cooperation.
Yeah, I definitely believe that, and I don't know exactly what St. Pierre brought to the table. If he cooperated in any way,
I think he did. Yeah, he wasn't called to testify in the Nagin trial, but he did cooperate, from what I understand. After initially, of course, denying, just like Mefford, they initially denied any wrongdoing.
Yeah, I think that those things send a bad message. I think that again, I'm personally happy that that Mefford's term is within a reasonable level, only because I knew him. He was. I considered him to be a friend of mine. I also believe he lied to me, and so that certainly.
He wasn't just lying to you. He was lying to everybody.
Yeah, well, I know that. But he personally lied to me about the situation, and that was quite disappointing when somebody personally lies to you, and you're asking them about and they personally lie. Now the column I wrote, postcard to Nagin, basically, let me just mention that when Nagin was first elected, and I think about 2 days after he was elected, or shortly after. Basically, I attended a press conference that he had, meet the media type deal, and I remember that, I was wondering, well, who is this guy? And Patrick Evans had said openly, and you remember Patrick Evans, I think, was his press secretary,
reporter, right? Yeah.
Communications director, former reporter, basically said, that openly said in front of Nagin that. That Nagin makes him cringe because he didn't know what was going to come out of his mouth and yeah, he was a free agent, and certainly I think that really that stood up. Then the second thing is after Hurricane Katrina, and I believe it was after the Chocolate City remark, I believe. So there, certainly second term, Nagin, was blasting the media for being negative and making negative comments, despite and I understand. I mean, the city was certainly we're struggling trying to get back, and then after saying that, and it was at a office across the street from the Superdome, he goes and he calls the New Orleans business community a Super Bowl of prostitutes, and I just was stunned by just the irony that he is saying that after begging us to cooperate and be quiet.
The bottom line is he said a lot of dumb things.
Yeah, and so to make long story short, if I'm not,
he did a lot of dumb things.
Yeah, and the day after his election, where he did beat Mitch Landrieu, I was walking out of the Landrieu campaign, at least the victory party, and I came across some people who were very firm Landrieu supporters, and they told me that they were going to leave New Orleans, that they were going to, they were giving up. And so the next morning, I was at the Nagin press conference, and I asked Nagin about, the city leaders leaving, and he said, well, that there were parasites, and that he didn't want them to leave, but he'll send them a postcard. That made national news, and so I decided to send my own postcard to Nagin yesterday.
Okay.
And say, hey, look, why don't you?
Better yet, he could probably enjoy some visitors. Maybe you could take the trip over there, not just a postcard. Go visit him.
Well, I don't think so.
Okay.
But it was, hey, look, why don't you come clean with this? You can, certainly make you a better man. I mean, certainly God bless you and your family, but come clean. The city would be a lot better off too.
Well, he never did, and I don't know if he ever will. And that's one of the things about Edwin Edwards. He's never really come clean. He's never apologized. I give more, I guess, praise to those who have seen the error of their ways and at least come forward and apologize for their actions, as opposed to continually deny what overwhelming evidence show that they did. Let's take some calls, Steve. 504-556-9696 to join us open line here in the program. Jeff Crouere with you. It's ringside to be at GSO, 990 AM, WGSO.com. Love to hear from you. It's Jeff at WGSO.com, email address. And the talk line, 504-556-9696. Brought to you by our friends at Sir Speedy. Our friend Jim in Uptown is with us. What's happening, Jim?
Well, Jeff, I don't know, did you bring the Saints luck or not? Go ahead. But I won't blame it on you.
Yeah, there's like 10,000 other Saints fans there. There were thousands of Saints fans there. There's massive Saints crowd.
It's a shame we get down to the last minute like that. But,
right.
It keeps it exciting. So,
it was a great game, Jim. It was a great game. A lot of fun.
Well, Jeff, the Republicans and all Tea Party people kind of always like to look at money. So the other day I said, if Greg Medford did $860,000, what is the rate of payback per amount of time he serves? And if you divide it out, it's roughly 66 cents per minute that he serves equals $860,000. How do you like that? That gives us a rate of return. Now, it's also going to cost us to keep him about $50,000 to $60,000 in federal prison per year. So you start adding that up. Think about this. if a young black male steals $500, at that rate of time per dollar stolen, he will serve 12 hours, and that will be the length of his sentence. So there's something terribly wrong about how we allow, quote, white-collar and political crimes to go with such small punishment. I mean, they ought to make it, when you steal from government,
harsher punishment than typical criminals.
Some of these people, and the stuff, you know, you start reading about, education's down in Louisiana. Look at the money that the Jefferson gang hustled in the name of children and education.
Horrible.
That's the first thing. We got to help the children. We got to help with the education. We're going to feed the old. Well, we got redundant programs. I'm looking at something right now with all the food stamps that we have out there. Somebody's got a crop walk. Now, what are we doing? We're feeding people in another place? How many times do we do the same thing and get poor results? Now, I want to laugh. Did you see about Mitch Landrieu unveiling a broad policy on black men jobs?
I might have missed it being out of town. Tell us about it. I can't wait to hear.
You know, he's talking about all getting people in the job place. But, you know, I was reading one of the comments. Most of these people, for the types of crimes they've gotten involved with, they can't even get a job as a tour guide or a cab driver.
Mm-hmm.
So City Hall eliminates people. But also, you know, this whole thing, why go to work when you can live with your baby's mama?
Well, you know what, I want to pass on a report that I just saw, Jim, you might be interested in, and they found that folks out of work spend more time shopping than they do looking for work. And I'll pass on the details of that a little bit later, so hang on with us. That's Jim Uptown making some interesting points. Steve, we got 30 seconds to the break. Love you to hang on with us. Any quick comments?
No, not at all.
All right, Jim, thanks for joining us. We'll take more of your calls when we come back. Steve Sabludowsky with us, Jeff Crouere here. Our talk line, 504-556-9696, WGSO.com, Bayoubuzz.com. You can check out our Google Hangout, and, of course, right here on the airwaves at 990 a.m. Thanks for joining us on this busy Tuesday morning. We'll be right back.
This is Chef Tony Montalbano from Two Tonys. You already know I prepare each sauce from scratch and every dish is made to order. You can still have your seafood any way you want it. Lightly fried, grilled, sauteed, or blackened. But did you know I've expanded our menu? You can always get the best in Italian dishes. Now try our light menu items for the summer, like our seafood salad or our Gulf fish of the day. Open Tuesday through Thursday, 11 to 9. Friday and Saturday we go till 10. Stop in for our $5 happy hour we're doing from 3 to 6. Two Tonys Restaurant, 8536 Pontchartrain Boulevard in West End.
I'm attorney Greg DeLeo. Most automobile personal injury cases involved soft tissue injuries, injuries that heal within a few months. The biggest mistake people make in these cases is not getting active medical treatment for their injuries. People go to the doctor right at first, but then they stop, sometimes for a few weeks, sometimes longer. People get frustrated that they're not healing, or they have transportation problems. However valid the reason is to stop going to the doctor, just know that when it comes time to settle a claim for pain and suffering, the insurance company will use these gaps in active medical treatment to pay you less. Remember, the doctor is the one who documents your complaints. The number of months of active medical treatment you have determines the value of your pain and suffering. Think of going to the doctor as your investment in your own case. I'm attorney Greg DeLeo, and this has been your Legal Minute. For more information, call me at 504-522-3456. That's 522-3456.
Come join us at Jiggers Bar and Grill this football season. Sunday, Monday, and Thursday nights. We have 50-cent wings and $6 pizza, $10 for buckets of domestic beer, $15 for imports. Ladies drink 2 for $1 on Thursday, and happy hour is daily, Monday through Friday from 12 to 7. The bar's open 24 hours Thursday through Saturday, and the kitchen open late till 5 a.m. at Jiggers Bar and Grill, 1645 Veterans Boulevard, 1 block before Bonneville. See you soon at Jiggers.
When he's not busy writing, he's busy reading. And he's speaking easy all the time to all of New Orleans. It's Ringside Politics with a Punch, and it's on the air right now. Give Jeff Crouere a call at 556-9696.
Jeff Crouere here, Steve Sabludowsky with us. You can join us at 504-556-9696. And Steve, any more comments before we want to take some more calls?
Go ahead, please.
All right, let's go to the phone calls. And next joining us is Michael on a cell phone. Hey, Michael, good morning.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. Jeff, the Saints want me to tell you something. Don't go to any more games. You're a jinx.
All right, tell that to the 10,000 other people who were there, okay?
Yeah, right. We know. Anyway, we know you're good at picking losers. But here's the deal. Yesterday, I called up Captain Black.
Hey, the Saints aren't losers. You mean you're jumping off the bandwagon already? My goodness.
No, when you're there, they're losers.
Oh, I got you. It's just me being there. I got you. Okay.
Right.
Okay. None of the other 9,999 people that were there. Just me. All right. I have a lot of power. That's amazing. Go ahead.
The last time you were right was December 6, 1941, when you said, "Watch out for them Japs."
Okay. Yeah, you have a great memory, Michael.
Anyway, look, here's the deal. Ken Cuccinelli was on with Captain Black yesterday, and I gave them a little scenario. I said, Rudy Giuliani started with stop and frisk. He reduced murders in New York from 2,000 to 200, a dramatic increase. Tons of lives were saved. I said the way to do that is to stop and frisk people. If you catch them with a gun, anybody with a gun for any reason, it's 10 years minimum. I said, now, would you give up your gun in order to save thousands of people's lives every year? And they said, no, you got to pry that gun away from us. So they don't care about people's lives. All they care about is their little toys.
Okay, I didn't, I wasn't able to hear the conversation, wasn't able to listen to the show. Ken Cuccinelli is with the Senate Conservative Fund. They're supporting Rob Maness and other conservatives. I guess they got into the whole issue of Second Amendment rights, which I support. And I do believe that, well-armed citizenry that's well-trained can help reduce crime. And, I support the Second Amendment. Steve, any comments?
Not about that, but something related.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I'm just wondering what.
Did you know that it was me alone that really caused the Saints to lose? I didn't know if you knew that. It was just me that caused the Saints to lose.
I'm going to tease you. But you opened up the door, and that is that I thought you were going to boycott the NFL. So apparently, I was surprised you didn't. You actually went there to support the NFL.
I went there to support the Saints and New Orleans. I think the NFL is very politically correct. I'm not leading a boycott. I'm just saying that.
I know that. Look, I was like
they're politically correct.
I was little history here, and that is that you wrote the column yesterday. Friday was on WGSO-Bayoubuzz,
right?
Where you had. Endorse the idea of boycotting the NFL.
No, I said the only way to turn them around, and the politically correct direction that they're going is for fans to either stop buying their merchandise or boycott the games. I didn't say I was leading that, but I just was pointing to their politically correct leadership. The Michael Sam thing, where they're going out there and trying to find a team to take the guy. He's the first openly gay professional player. They haven't done that on behalf of any other player, Steve, that to my knowledge. They certainly didn't do that for Tim Tebow when he was looking for a team. But they go out there and try to beg teams to please take Michael Sam just because he's gay. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, this whole Redskins thing is driving me crazy, that we've had this team name for decades. Then all of a sudden it's so offensive that referees won't rep the games, and Tony Dungy won't say the name, and even though the American public is on the other side, and even American Indians, Native Americans are on the other side, that bothers me too. So it's just a long line of politically correct, I guess, pronouncements that have gotten me upset. Let's take some more calls. Let's go to Pete, who's with us in Algiers. What's going on, Pete? Good morning.
Good morning, Jeff. How you doing, partner?
Hey.
Listen, don't listen to all them guys. You had nothing to do with it, man. Let me tell you.
Jeez, yeah. I bet most games I go to, they win. In fact, I think the last 10 games I've been to, they've won.
Jeff, you have a great record. I don't care how bad it is, man. Hey, listen, partner, talk about politically correct.
Yes.
I was reading yesterday what this guy from Atlanta, the owner of the basketball team, said.
Yes.
What he said is that he was afraid that there wasn't going to be enough black people to buy season tickets in order to keep his team in Atlanta. So he felt like they would have to try and market some to white people more. Now, I mean, is that really racist? What does Steve think about that? I mean, come on. The guy is in business. He's trying to keep a team in the city. He sees that because of the way they're marketing now, it's not working. I mean, have we become that jaded that you can't even use the word black? You can't say, hey, we need to get some white fannies in there. What does Steve think about
Steve,
that?
are you familiar with that whole case with the Hawks owner and the email? And I guess he self-reported it and then decided he needed to resign his position because of what he wrote.
He's selling his team.
Yeah, he's selling it. Okay.
Yeah. That's a tough one. I have not read the entire email, and so I'm reluctant to actually give an opinion about it. But certainly based upon what the call is saying, it's really difficult. I mean, decisions are made not out of hate, okay, but you try to look at a particular demography. I think that what this person said was that that the whites were afraid to go to the game because they had too many blacks. Is that what he said?
I think that was part of it, and he didn't like the music that they were playing, that it was tailored too much to the black audience. He wanted that to change. He wanted to make it so that a 40-year-old white guy would feel comfortable. Yeah. And, it was sent 2 years ago. He just now, I guess, had a stroke of conscience, came forward to say he needs to sell the team, and he reported it. So the NBA applauded his decision to report it and sell the team.
Was he being outed though? I'm wondering because I do know.
Maybe behind the scenes he might have been. I think it was just an internal email to team officials, so it didn't go out into the public. But he decided to report it. Hang on, Steve. We'll come back with more right here. It's Ringside WGSO.
Michael Savage, join me in the Savage Nation weeknights 9 p.m. to midnight right here on 990 AM WGSO.
Hey, Steve, can you do one more segment, or do you have to go?
No, that's fine, thank you.
Okay, one more.
This is the Blaze Radio News. I'm John DeMaster.
Well, it's a strategy to do very little and to do too late.
Former U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations John Bolton saying the time to act is now against ISIS terrorists as the president meets today with congressional leaders to discuss a plan to take them out. Bolton telling Fox News,
the moment to strike ISIS is right now, before they have consolidated control over territory.
The president set to tell the nation about his plan to take down ISIS tomorrow, one day away from the anniversary of the 9/11 terrorist attacks. The wife of former Baltimore Ravens running back Ray Rice speaking out in defense of the man who knocked her out cold with a punch to the face in an elevator. Janae Rice criticizing the media for making her family relive a moment in our lives we both regret every day. She said the release of that video showing the brutal assault has only served to embarrass the couple and make them feel alone. Companies have done it, but now an individual is challenging the contraception mandate under Obamacare. The Blaze Radio's Chris Barnes with more details from Washington.
The Justice Department saying the legal challenge by Paul Weiland of Missouri is the only case involving an individual seeking an exemption from Obamacare's birth control coverage mandate. Weiland, a Republican Missouri state lawmaker, says that required coverage in his state-sponsored insurance plan violates his Catholic faith, so he's contesting a lower court's rejection of his legal challenge to the mandate. The 8th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in St. Louis hearing arguments on Monday. Weiland's lawyer citing the Supreme Court's decision this summer that private companies like Hobby Lobby that have religious objections can opt out of that mandate under the federal law. In Washington, I'm Chris Barnes, The Blaze News.
An Ebola patient being treated at the Nebraska Medical Center is continuing on the road to recovery. Dr. Rick Sacra arriving in Omaha last Friday after becoming infected with Ebola while treating patients in West Africa. This is news on the Blaze Radio Network.
Austin's Seafood and Steakhouse, from fresh Louisiana seafood to mouth-watering fresh-cut prime steaks and delectable Italian dishes. Austin's offers an extensive wine list and a fully stocked bar, located at 5101 West Esplanade, casual upscale dining in the heart of Metairie. Serving dinner Monday through Saturday from 5 to 10 p.m. Have your next event with Austin's, banquets, luncheons, or rehearsal dinners. For reservations, please call 888-5533. Austin's, a true dining experience. Mr. Ed's Oyster Bar and Fish House, now open in the Quarter 7 days a week at 512 Bienville.
Owning gold will be great, but only the rich can afford it, right? Not any longer. There's a safe, simple, secure, and affordable way to create a gold savings plan for you, your children, or even your business by exchanging paper money for 999.9 pure 24-karat gold bullion. For more information, go to goldsavingsplannow.com. That's goldsavingsplannow.com. Again, that's goldsavingsplannow.com.
There is no other radio show where you'll be able to express yourself without hearing, "We thank you for your call," and before you make your point. That's what Ringside Politics with a Punch is all about. Give Jeff Crouere a call at 556-9696.
Hey. A little bit later on, our friend, the conservative crawfish, is going to be joining us, Doug Scheck-Schneider. He'll chime in with his thoughts on this whole Ray Rice controversy. Another segment with Steve Sabludowsky, publisher of Bayoubuzz.com, a Ringside All-Star who checks in with us on Tuesdays. And Steve, welcome back, sir. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thank you so much. The question I wanted to ask is, has Reverend Brown called in?
Curiously, he is not. Have not heard from Reverend Brown.
I received the email last night, and likewise, I was wondering if he wrote it. I am curious as to why, his reasons, and I think we had this discussion a couple weeks ago on radio, and I just thought that he wasn't going to hit that 2% at all that he had gotten in 2002. So, I'm curious. I'm curious why he decided to back out.
Yeah, well, he knows
the 2% that he had gotten last time. I think were more of a liberal 2%. I don't know if he would have gotten a black more conservative 2%. And I think that there's just a credibility issue.
He got 23,000 votes last time. I think, whether it was 2%, 1%, 3% even, it would have come out of Landrieu's vote. And I think she was desperately trying to get him out of the race. I'd love him to come forward and share with us what happened. And he can certainly come on any time. He's always welcome to join the program, but we haven't heard from him.
I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure it would have come out of Landrieu's vote. That's the point I'm making. I think that what was he going to say? What was he saying? I mean,
well, he was going to appeal to black voters. Black voters are with Landrieu 95% of the time in this race. So whatever black vote he would take would 9 times out of 10 come from Mary Landrieu. And he was going to be also appealing to disenfranchised whites, poor whites, folks that are not normally in the Republican coalition. So I think it would have come out of the Democratic side. I really do. I mean, we'll never know now, Steve, because he's
We're
out.
not going to know, but that's, I totally disagree with that.
All right. Well, before we take some more calls, I want to give Pete a chance to make a quick follow-up to his comments. Pete, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, Jeff, thanks for
Okay.
taking it.
Yeah,
And
sure. Okay.
Yeah, you know what I wanted to say real quick about this punishment of white-collar crime. It is a crime. It really is, the way we handle these politicians and minimal sentences. When you think of what it has cost this state, this city, this country, for these thieves to get in office and do what they're doing, we need something to serve as a deterrent to keep these guys from doing it. It happens all the time. It happens everywhere. And it is ridiculous that we send them to these federal prisons. I know they're not as fancy as everybody says they are, but they ought to be in prisons like Angola.
Yes.
So that they will know that if they do something wrong, they will pay the severe price for it, because they're dealing with everything, our children's money. They're dealing with somebody else's money.
Yeah.
There is no way. But, of course, you think the politicians would ever vote for laws like that? Never. But I guarantee you the people should demand it. Thanks for taking
All right, my friend. Hey, I think you make a good point. I would certainly support that.
Yeah, I'm really shocked. I'm personally really shocked that there was a reduction of 17 years to 5 years. I mean, for what? I mean, what type of evidence? They
didn't specify what exactly he provided.
I totally agree. I mean, I really agree with what Pete and Jimmy said. And that's true for some of our friends who, such as in my case, Mefford. Certainly, a lot of people knew and have known. The former Jefferson Parish president, and he's now in jail. And so I think that, we've got to send a message. And the reduction of 12 years, I sure hope that it was based upon evidence that was provided rather than
it's just amazing
what the public would think.
Yeah.
That because Nagin got more or less than St. Pierre. I mean, that's bizarre as far as I'm concerned.
504-556-9696. It's amazing to think at Katrina we were led by Aaron Broussard in Jefferson. We were led by Ray Nagin in New Orleans. We had Jeff Hingle down in Plaquemines. You had Peter Galvin, I guess, is the coroner in St. Tammany. You had all these corrupt folks who are either, in prison or just out of prison. I don't know where Jeff Hingle's sentence stands, but it's just amazing that is what those were the folks we were led by at that point, that critical point. All right, back to the phone lines, 504-556-9696. James in Metairie is with us. What's going on, James?
Well, Jeff, good morning, and hello to you, Steve. Jeff, what about these white-collar criminals who are never arrested, never indicted, never brought to trial or convicted for committing a series of felonies in more than one jurisdiction? And, of course, I'm speaking of that depraved conservative senator from Louisiana, David Vitter. Now, Jeff, I'm not going to blame you for the loss. You're being there for the loss. But what I want to know is, what part of your game day rituals did you fail to perform, Jeff, or not perform correctly? That's what did it.
Well,
you didn't have the right color socks on or something.
Yeah, I was decked out in Saints colors. Had all the Saints paraphernalia on. We had a Saints crew we were sitting with in a Saints bus. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
You did your part. All right. Getting down to some serious politics here. Reverend Brown is down and wearing nothing but a frown this morning. Do you remember, was it ago that Miss Violet said about Reverend Brown, quote, he is an enemy of God and he hates the Lord. And I think she said he was wicked, so, maybe her prayers were answered.
Well, Mary Landrieu's prayers were answered because it's going to help her that he's out, in my opinion.
Well, that could be. Now, can you imagine, both of you guys, Reverend Brown standing up on the debate stage and having the moderator ask him, Reverend Brown, why are you running for the Senate? And what would he respond, Jeff? What he said on your show? I'm running to take away black votes from Mary Landrieu.
Right, that's what he said.
How disgusting is that? I mean, you know, and Jeff, recently, he accused the Landrieu campaign of paying off some black ministers. Now, Jeff, that is slander. He has no evidence for that. But now he's the one who's dropping out. Well, maybe, Jeff, maybe he did get what he wanted. You know, maybe, you know, this guy, what he wanted, I believe, was not to have his personal financial information exposed. Because doesn't the law require him to talk about his net worth, his property holdings, money in the bank, that sort of thing?
There'd be filing requirements. Yes.
I don't think Reverend Brown wants that information made public, if you know what I mean. So he's gone. He was, Jeff, as I said before, he was the proverbial you-know-what in the punch bowl. He was a spoiler, and I'm glad he's gone because it was an absolute joke and a very, very serious.
We were going to have the people's debate, Steve. We were going to feature all the candidates. I still think we should do that. Any more thought of doing that?
Well, you know, I'm very disappointed that Reverend Brown won't be on the debate, the people's debate.
Right.
Maybe he can moderate it.
Maybe he can ask questions. Maybe he can be one of the panelists.
Well,
all kinds of possibilities.
You know, James makes some really good points. I mean, you know, he never said anything in his bowing out letter. He never said a single thing about the fact that he was in a race to expose Mary
Landrieu. Right.
And you know, it wasn't. I don't think Mary Landrieu's name was even brought up in that letter. So I don't know. I don't know what his motivation was. I don't know either to get into the race or get out the race. But bizarre is all I can say. Bizarre.
504-556-9696. Back to the phone lines. Let's go to the Apostle Hosea. Hey, Apostle, how are you? Good morning, sir.
Good morning, good morning. I'm doing much better than I did within a few days ago. Going through it, you know, battling and like I normally do, but spiritual warfare and physical. But how you doing?
All right, good to be back. Good to talk to you, sir. What's on your mind this morning, Apostle?
All right, I need your opinion. Then I'll comment because I don't know too much of the information. You heard about the guy they call him Reverend Littleton, that's supposed to be a radio personality on WBOK, supposed to shot somebody?
Yes. Someone who stole copper from his church. Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me ask you, because I didn't know too much of it, of what actually happened. Did they supposedly break in the church, or they stole the copper from outside the church?
From outside the church.
Oh, so they stole it from outside. So he drove up and found them stealing the copper, right?
Or he was in the church or in his office and heard them or saw them outside trying to steal the copper from the AC unit and then tried to stop them. They took off, and he shot one of them.
Okay, that's the story that's told, correct?
From what I'm understanding of it, I don't know all the details. I think that's a general story.
And they supposedly, from what did they say he supposedly shot one of the guys in the head or something like that?
I think he grazed him in the head. I don't think it was life-threatening, no.
But his intention was to shoot the man in the head that was running, allegedly was stealing supposedly some copper from an air conditioner, correct?
Right, yes, sir.
Okay, now, I just heard about it a few days ago, but I still didn't know all the information. My issue is by this guy being a radio supposedly personality, supposedly being a preacher, and he supposedly was at the building from the story they told, and a guy was supposedly trying to steal a copper or whatever, but after the guy saw him come, and whether he had a gun and this guy didn't ran, how come they put so much emphasis on, I have to use a race card, but you don't understand why. How come they put so much emphasis on Mr. Landrieu that had a family that was after midnight, and this black guy jumped over this high fence who had family men threatening this guy Landrieu shoot somebody which is understandable, and it's almost world news. They wanted to put him under the jail or put him in prison for years, but yet this guy, who's supposedly a preacher, wanted to just straight out allegedly murder this guy that supposedly was stealing some copper, and then I guess they have let him out now, and there's still no big outcry, but yet with Landrieu, it was a whole other story. You don't think that's strange?
I think you hit on it. I think it's the whole racial component that is the difference, because Landrieu was white, Marshall Coulter was black. In this case, the pastor's black, the thieves were black, and he didn't have that race element, which always heightens the whole attention and the outrage. And you know, I think Landrieu was certainly justified in that the guy had jumped over the fence and could have been a threat to his children. In this case, it's more of a stretch, because he wasn't at home, he didn't jump into his yard, he was supposedly fleeing, and not as solid of a case. Steve, and thank you, Apostle, appreciate the call. Steve, any comments?
No.
All right, let's take some more. 504-556-9696. She was mentioned earlier. Let's bring on our good friend, Miss Violet. How you doing, Miss Violet? Good morning.
Well, good morning, Mr. Crouere. How are you? And good morning to everyone. Good morning to Steve and Mr. Crouere. It's so good to have you back. But guess what? When I heard that the captain was on this morning, guess what? I said, oh, my God, I am so glad it wasn't the one that's breaking of the leavened bread. That was the host. I'm so glad for that. Let me get that out of the way. Okay, and I hope that, you know, I could have been there to, you know, to call in. But anyway, I'm going to listen at the podcast today.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Crouere, all I want to say this is that with this Littleton and everything,
yes,
that sounds like a fictional story. You see what I'm saying? So, and look, as far as these so-called preachers, and just like Brian had said about the national, about the Baptist convention and all this, these people ain't nothing but a synagogue of hypocrites, generation of vipers, and they're gonna, you know, God said they're not gonna escape damnation of hell, because the simple reason that they're hypocrites, and hypocrites is what? It's play acting. That's all these folks are doing. And Jesus called them whitewashed, just like a coffin. And he said, open up the coffin and nothing but a bunch of dead bones. And that's what they are. It's nothing but religious stuff. That's what Jesus told Nicodemus. Get away from this religious stuff. You have to get your mind washed away from all this religion and this rules and regulation stuff. He's saying, look to me. Look at my message. Look at what I have to say. I came to give you life. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Satan came to destroy you. So look, Mr. Crouere, one more thing I would like to say about this Michael thing.
The Michael who? Michael
Rice.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Ray Rice. Quickly, Miss Violet.
One thing I want to say about this here, guess what? I think that's a hoax, because if anybody gonna put somebody that hard, you understand? This woman, eyes should have been popped out, her either dead or her jaw should have been broken or something.
All right, and we're going to be talking about that next with the conservative crawfish, Steve Sabludowsky. Thank you. We'll have a column later for